Joining me on the line, he is from Brewer and Shipley. Ladies and gentlemen, Michael Brewer's on the line. Hey, Michael, how are you doing today?
Probably better than I deserve.
All right.
More than likely.
First question out of the gate. How many times have you told the one Toke over the line story?
100 million.
Does it get funnier every single time?
Sometimes, yeah. All depends on, the interviewer and just, the mood I'm in or whatever.
We're celebrating 420, obviously, and I'm guessing that you may partake a little bit, but
A little bit.
a little bit. Going back to that, is there a funnier story in music history?
Then writing one Toke over the line, or what became of it, or whatever.
What became of it? The whole Lawrence Welk thing.
Oh yeah, that. Well, that's pretty bizarre. I don't know of anybody else who can tell that story. For those people who don't know, when it was a hit, Lawrence Welk performed it. Dale and Gale sang it, the duo. And Tom and I were in London at the time, so we didn't see it. If it hadn't been for my mother actually viewing that broadcast, I never would have known about it probably. But 32 years later, I actually ended up getting a copy of it, and we put it on YouTube for the world to see. I think it's had over 1 million hits now, so if you haven't seen it, go to YouTube and check out Token with Lawrence Welk.
It's one of those stories that you come across and it's like, there's no way that's true.
You can't make that stuff up, can you?
The first time I ever heard the story, and this has been a couple years ago, because it was one of those things you watch and there's no way this is real.
I know, and he referred to it as a modern-day spiritual to boot.
Okay, so what were your guys' reaction when that actually happened?
Well, I laughed my ass off. We weren't together when we saw it, but yeah, I cracked up. How could you not? They even modulate the key, which really cracked me up.
Was there a little bit of wow that there can't be this much stupidness on the planet? Is there just
yeah, there was a little of that.
After you got past the laughing part, what was the response? Was it like, oh, those a-holes stole our song?
I watched it 2 or 3 more times and just kept laughing.
That's perfect.
Couldn't believe it. Scratching my head. My God, life is stranger than fiction.
It really is, and it's such a great song. That's the funny thing about it. And you hear about it. What's kind of funny, you watch the video and you go, you know what? They actually did turn it into like a spiritual.
Yeah, I know. Well, I was told, I don't know if it's true, but I was told that back in the day, it was also in a hymnal somewhere in Georgia in a church. I don't know if it's true, but it makes for a good story.
There has to be somebody that did it. There has to be.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about it, if they played it on Lawrence Welk, social media wasn't around at the time, so you wouldn't have the explosion of knowledge, come out.
Yeah.
Michael Brewer for Brewer and Shipley on the line with me. You guys have a new release coming out on Vimeo or how do you say
Vimeo.
Vimeo, there it is.
Yeah, Vimeo on demand.
One Toke over the line and still smoking. What are we getting into here?
Well, long story short, Tom got into videography years ago and worked for the University of Missouri of Science and Technology. We both live in Missouri.
Oh, cool.
In the Ozark Mountains. He worked with a lady on some project about the Ozarks named Kathy Corley, who taught videography at Washington University in St. Louis. And she said, Tom, there's way more to Brewer and Shipley music than one Toke over the line. You guys have been together a long time. You've written scores of songs and recorded them. You have a whole bunch of albums, and a whole lot of people really don't know you except for one Toke over the line.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have our following. Thank goodness. People still come to see us in concert, which is great. But anyway, she said, what would you think about me doing a documentary on you guys? And we said, well, sure, no problem. So when she's had the opportunity, I think she's worked on this thing for like 9 years. I'm not kidding. Yeah, when she's had the opportunity, because of her job at the university and everything, she would travel and follow us around and videotape concerts and interview scores of people and all over the country, former record producers and band members and fans and whatever. And originally she interviewed me separately and then Tom separately, and a few years went by and we thought, we really need to be interviewed together because we have some more thoughts, to add to things. We can bounce ideas off each other, whatever. So then we got interviewed together. So during the course, you can literally watch this and watch us age. Yeah, because it's taken so long to put it together. But it's finally completed. I've seen bits and pieces of it, which she would send me a link, at certain stages or whatever, to view and give my comments or whatever. Tom and we dig out more old photos, or family members do the same thing or whatever. But Anyway, I have yet to see the finished product from beginning to end with credits and extras and whatever. So on 420, I'm going to be going to Vimeo on demand and firing it up along with a doob and watching it.
I was just thinking, I mean, are they they're going to give you a free pass for it, right?
I suppose so. I think it's free anyway. If you have Roku, I think Vimeo is
Oh,
free.
really? That's cool. I did not know
Yeah,
that.
I think
I've got
so.
Roku. I'll have to look into that. We'll get all that information up at the website, kggo.com. But is there a little bit of trepidation about it, or are you just looking forward to it?
No, I'm just looking forward to it, I don't have any regrets or trepidations. Tom and I have been together 52 years, and we're still kicking, just not as high as we used to. And we've had a really long, very good career. And I don't have any trepidations at all. I'm looking forward to it. There might be a thing or two there might be something in there that makes me cringe a little bit, but the same thing goes for some of our records. So what can I say?
Was there anything like in the process, anything that came up that was kind of surprising that it was like, oh yeah, I forgot about that?
Had to have been.
Okay. Just curious. It's kind of neat when you get into like the background, like there's the behind the scenes of like video making and movies and all that. But when it comes to something like this, it's kind of interesting when you hear the old stories again. And you brought up how you guys did it together, and I always thought that like I've got friends that are better storytellers together than they are apart. So I wonder if that would change it at all.
I don't know, because Tom and I, on stage we come from the folk era. And there's always been a lot of, storytelling and stuff that goes along with folk music. And our fans love hearing about how the songs came about. So we tell them, we tell stories and things. And they always say, we just love your stories. So that's what we always do. I always like to, we apologize to our fans when in concert too, for ruining their young lives with our Dangerous song back when we were Dangerous Guys in 1971. Because you probably know that we made Nixon's enemies list because of One Toke Over the Line. And Spiro Agnew named us personally on national TV one night as subversives to American youth. That's why we apologize to our fans for leading them astray.
What was it like? I mean, when that first came out and, somebody says that something like that about you, like, was it, kind of flipping the bird? Was it like, okay, whatever you say? Or what was the response back then?
We kind of thought it was funny, kind of spooked us too, because, the last thing we did every one of after it was such a big hit. Well, you got to understand, this is back when Nixon, excuse me, my allergies.
Oh, I'm right there with you. We're under high pollen alert today. So
yeah. Anyway, Nixon had the FCC threatening radio stations with their licenses if they didn't screen so-called drug-referenced songs, but we thought it was just stupid. It was the equivalent of burning books. I mean, Puff the Magic Dragon was on that list. It's hilarious. It's ridiculous. And we ended up having a meeting at WLS in Chicago, huge radio station, with the CEO at the time. And he says, we really like this song, and we want to play it, but only if you guys are on board with us. And we said, oh, absolutely, of course. So they played it, and then lots of other stations played it. A lot of stations didn't play it because they were worried about the FCC threat. And but it went on to be a top 10 band hit is what it was.
I can kind of imagine living in that world. I mean, cancel culture is completely out of control now, I think.
Oh, absolutely.
I can't imagine what it would be like to have social media back at that point with something like this coming up and what the response would be,
Yeah, no kidding. We took it with a grain of salt. We thought it was funny, but it kind of spooked us too, because after it was a hit, we did all the late night shows, Dick Cavett and David Frost and The Tonight Show, and on and on. And we turned down invitations to come and sit on the couch because we knew all they were going to want to talk about was the controversy.
Yeah.
And we were trying to lay low. We're on tour, and the last thing we wanted were cops showing up at our motel rooms and dressing rooms and whatever, looking for a joint someplace or something. So we passed on sitting on the couch. In retrospect, I wish we'd have sat on the couch.
With the whole Nixon thing and being on the list, was there any, like, at any point did you go, wow, this could get ugly real quick?
Well, yeah, but you live your life and hope for the best, and what can you do? If
someone named you like that, I mean, that's a pretty high profile person, and knowing what we know about Nixon now, it's like, wow, that probably could have been bad.
Yeah, it could have been. But it just kind of seemed to blow over. I guess he ended up with more important things to deal with, like Watergate.
Yeah, I know. Right? Let's see. Do we go after Brewer and Shipley today, or do we worry about Watergate?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's great
Yeah, not a
stuff.
priority.
Brewer and Shipley, one toke over the line, still smoking, comes out 420. Really,
Appropriate.
yes, exactly. Did you guys plan that?
Kathy Corley did.
There you go.
The lady
Perfect.
who made the documentary.
Vimeo, right?
Yeah, Vimeo on demand.
That's one of those ones I have trouble saying. Like I know how it's supposed to be said, and then I go to say it, I can't say it right. So
Yeah.
times. All right. Well, Michael, I'll let you get back to your day. Thank you so much for the time. It's such a great story all the way around.
Well, we've lived it. We've been there, done that. We've been together a long time, and like I said, we're still kicking, just not as high as you once did.
There you go. All right. We'll get all the links over at the website and all your socials and all that. And good luck with it. Okay, man?
Thank you very much, and thank you for your time to help us promote it.
Oh, no
really
worries.
appreciate it.
Michael, you have a great day, okay?
Okay, you too.